the photo that changed everything. It was just a simple, candid photo, but in the background was evidence that would turn my world upside down. That day, it was impossible to foresee the chaos a single snapshot would unleash. All I felt then was a perfect concoction of sunshine and laughter. We had chosen the lake for its tranquility, the way the water mirrored the sky's endless blue, and the soft rustle of leaves whispering secrets. My friends and I sprawled across a checkered blanket, the smell of fresh meadow grass mingling with the tang of citrus from our picnic. We were drunk on the ease of camaraderie, trading stories and teasing each other with the kind of banter only longtime friends could master. "Hey, get closer," Laura called, holding her phone high, squinting at the screen to frame the perfect shot. I squeezed between Jake and Sam, my arm looping around their shoulders, feeling the warmth of their bodies and the safety of our shared history. Click, the shutter captured the moment, our laughter frozen against the golden backdrop of late afternoon. I paused to take in everything. The gentle lapping of water against the rocks, the distant call of a bird echoing in the clear air, the way the sun painted our faces in long shadows as it dipped towards the horizon. My heart swelled with gratitude, a silent prayer of thanks for this pocket of peace in an otherwise chaotic world. The day stretched lazily into evening, the sky bleeding into hues of orange and pink. We snapped more pictures, each click a testament to our joy, to the bonds we thought unbreakable. I felt like a part of something greater, a tapestry of friendship woven with moments like this one. As we packed up, I glanced at Laura's camera roll, laughing at our goofy expressions and the accidental blurs, evidence of our carefree spirits. Little did I know, nestled in one of those frames was something that would unravel the very fabric of my life. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the world in twilight, and we walked back to our cars, my heart light and my mind at ease. But those photos, those simple photos, would demand examination, and with them, the certainty I held would begin to splinter. As the glow of the day shifted into the cool embrace of evening, I settled onto my couch, cozy under the familiar weight of my favorite blanket. The room was filled with a gentle amber light from the lamp in the corner, casting comforting shadows on the walls. I reached for my phone, eager to relive the day through the photos Laura had sent. Scrolling through the gallery, I smiled at the rush of memories, Sam's animated expressions, Jake's ridiculous poses, our interwoven laughter crystallized in each shot. One photo, though, caught my eye. I paused, zooming in on our gleeful faces, but something in the background pulled my focus away. There was the lake, serene as always, but just beyond us, half hidden by the foliage, a figure stood by the water's edge. My breath caught in my throat. At first, it seemed like a trick of the light or a shadow, but the more I looked, the more certain I became. It was unmistakably Alex, my partner, though I knew they should have been miles away, attending a family gathering in another town. I leaned forward, the blanket slipping from my shoulders, heart beginning to race. Questions bubbled up, unbidden and relentless. What was Alex doing there? Why had not they mentioned anything? I tried to dismiss the flood of thoughts, telling myself it was just a coincidence, a mistaken identity maybe, but the image lingered like an itch I could not scratch, a puzzle piece that did not fit. I glanced again at the photo, the pixelated figure a silent specter against the vibrant tableau of our day. The room suddenly felt too quiet, the ticking of the clock an incessant reminder of the passage of time and the urgency of unraveling this mystery. I stared at the image until my eyes ached, searching for clues, a pattern on the shirt, the angle of a familiar stance, but nothing quelled the growing unease within me. I knew I had to find out more, to make sense of this fragment that threatened to upend the reality I thought I knew. And as I sat there, I resolved to uncover the truth hidden within that simple, candid photo. In that moment of realization, I understood. This was only the beginning of a journey I never asked for, but could no longer avoid. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the curtains, but its warmth did nothing to dispel the chill that had settled in my chest. Over coffee, the bitter taste matched the doubt that gnawed at the edges of my mind. I could not stop staring at that photo, replaying it over and over in my head like a broken record that refused to fade into silence. Alex had always been the pillar of trust in our relationship, the one I could lean on when the world felt too heavy. Yet now, each glance at that photo scratched at my confidence like nails on glass, leaving me raw and uncertain. I rummaged through my memories of recent weeks, examining every interaction with Alex under the harsh light of suspicion. Had they been distant lately? Was there a hesitance in their voice when they left for the supposed family gathering? I strained to recall every detail, every whispered conversation. Last Thursday, for instance, when they had canceled our dinner plans, citing an urgent work call. At the time, I had accepted it without question, but now doubt twisted my stomach in knots. Had that really been true, or just a carefully crafted excuse? I paced the room, my thoughts a tangled web of anxiety and disbelief. I needed more information, something concrete to either validate or dissolve this creeping mistrust. I felt as if I were tiptoeing along the edge of a precipice, the ground beneath me crumbling with every uncertain step. My phone buzzed, jolting me from my thoughts. It was a message from Laura. "Hey, are you okay? You seemed a bit off yesterday." I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the screen. Could I confide in her? Would anyone understand the hurricane of emotions battering my heart? "I am fine," I typed, the lie sitting heavy on my conscience. Deleting those words, I tried again. "Actually, something's been bothering me." I spent the rest of the day trying to appear normal, yet internally, gears were shifting with relentless determination. I needed to take action, to peel back the layers of mystery surrounding that day at the lake. By evening, I had made a decision. I would search for answers, follow every thread until the truth was laid bare. Little did I know, what I would find would demand a confrontation I was not sure I was ready to face. But for now, the seeds of doubt had been planted, and they were starting to grow. The next few days were a blur of restless thoughts and relentless searching. My mind was a tangled mess of theories, each one more consuming than the last. I could not shake the image of Alex by the water's edge, their presence a haunting undertone to every moment since that photo had surfaced. Determined to find the truth, I turned to social media, scouring Alex's posts for any clues. My fingers trembled slightly as I navigated through their timeline, clicking on photos and reading captions with a new suspicious lens. There was a picture from the day of the family gathering, but something felt off. The timestamp was right, yet the shadows were all wrong. The light was too golden for the time suggested, an inconsistency that gnawed at me like a sore tooth. My heart pounded as I tried to make sense of it, but my mind offered no solace, only more questions. I pulled up Alex's messages, scrolling through our recent conversations. Each word seemed to hold a hidden meaning, a tone I had never before noticed. How could something so familiar now feel like a foreign language? Memories of our talks replayed vividly in my mind. I recalled asking about the family gathering, Alex's voice steady and assured as they described the event. But now, that steadiness seemed more like rehearsed calm. I scrutinized every detail, every inflection, as if the truth were buried within the syllables. Desperation clawed at me, a growing urgency to confront Alex with my findings. But was I ready for what I might uncover? The thought alone sent a shiver through my spine, yet I could not back down now. I needed answers, even if they shattered the trust we had built. I started piecing together a plan, something concrete to bring to Alex. My mind raced with possibilities, each more plausible and terrifying than the last. I felt like a detective in my own life, searching for clues to solve this unwanted mystery. Anxiety buzzed under my skin, keeping sleep at bay as I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. As the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, I resolved to confront Alex. The truth was out there, waiting to be uncovered, and I was finally ready to face it, no matter the cost. But as I stood on the precipice of revelation, I could not shake the feeling that what lay ahead would change everything, perhaps more than I dared imagine. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the photo on my phone for what felt like the 100th time. My hands were clammy, heart rattling against my ribs like a caged bird. I felt the tension coiling, pulling tighter as I heard the familiar sound of Alex's keys jangling in the lock. The door swung open, framing Alex against the fading light of the hallway. They seemed surprised to see me waiting, their smile faltering when our eyes met. I swallowed, the bitterness of fear and anger mingling on my tongue. "We need to talk," I said, my voice sharper than I intended. Alex hesitated, then nodded, stepping inside and closing the door behind them. The air was thick between us, charged with words unspoken and truths untold. I slid the phone across the table, the screen facing up. "Explain this," I demanded, my voice teetering on the edge of control. Alex glanced at the photo, their eyes widening momentarily before they looked back at me, expression morphing into disbelief. "I do not know what you are talking about," they said, their voice steady but unconvincing. I stood, the chair scraping harshly against the floor. "Do not lie to me, Alex. I know what I saw. You were there at the lake," I accused, each word a dagger thrown. They opened their mouth to protest, but I cut them off, anger unspooling in a torrent. "And your social media posts, the shadows, the lighting, they do not match up. It is like you were not even at that family gathering." Alex's face hardened, defenses rising like a fortress. "Are you spying on me now?" they shot back, a bitter edge to their words. "I cannot believe you would go that far." The accusations stung, but my resolve did not waver. I had to know what was going on. "You have been hiding something from me, and I deserve the truth." We were locked in a standoff, the room crackling with tension. I could hear my pulse drumming in my ears, each beat a countdown to the potential unraveling of everything we had built together. "Okay," Alex finally said, their voice dropping to a whisper that barely contained the storm brewing beneath. "Let us get everything out on the table then." As their words hung in the air, I realized this was it, the moment of reckoning. But what Alex would reveal was yet to be seen, and the uncertainty gnawed at me, a reminder that the truth could be both a salve and a wound. Alex took a deep breath, their eyes locking with mine, a myriad of emotions flickering across their face like shadows caught in the wind. "You are right," they said quietly, the admission sending a ripple of shock down my spine. I was at the lake. My heart skipped a beat, a cocktail of relief and tension lacing through my veins. "Why, Alex? What were you doing there?" I pressed, my voice softer now, edged more with confusion than accusation. They ran a hand through their hair, a gesture I recognized as their telltale sign of unease. "I did not want to tell you because it was supposed to be a surprise," they began, the words tangling together in their haste. "Remember how you mentioned wanting to find a place near the lake for us? Somewhere we could escape to when city life got too much?" I nodded, recalling the casual conversation we had months ago as a passing thought, a shared dream over coffee on a rainy afternoon. "I have been looking into buying a cabin there. It is why I have been disappearing on weekends, to sort things out without you knowing," Alex explained, their voice a blend of apology and hope. "I wanted to show you once everything was finalized, a gift for us." The information crashed over me, a wave of surprise that left me momentarily breathless. The image of Alex, not as a deceitful shadow in the background, but as a partner planning a future, shifted something deep within me. But the family gathering and the social media posts, I asked, my voice small as I struggled to reconcile their words with the facts I thought I knew. Alex sighed, frustration and affection mingling in their eyes. The posts were to keep the surprise alive. I did not want to raise any suspicion. The family gathering was a cover, poorly executed, I admit. I should have known you would dig deeper. I felt my defenses crumbling, the anger that had fueled me dissipating into the air. Yet a kernel of doubt remained, a question of why they had not trusted me with the truth from the start. The room was quiet, anticipation hanging thick between us, as I realized we stood at a crossroads. Would this revelation be a fracture, or the first step towards rebuilding? The answer was a mystery I could not yet solve, but the path forward was beginning to emerge, shrouded in uncertainty and the glimmer of possibility. The kitchen felt both foreign and familiar as Alex and I faced each other, the echoes of our confrontation still vibrating in the air. My mind was a whirlpool of emotions, relief, residual anger, and a hesitant hope that perhaps we could find our way back to each other. I took a deep breath, the scent of coffee lingering from the morning, grounding me in the here and now. Alex, I began, choosing my words with care. I understand why you wanted it to be a surprise, but I felt so blindsided. Alex nodded, their gaze steady but soft, a silent apology woven into their expression. I see that now. I should have trusted you enough to let you in on the plan. The last thing I wanted was to hurt you. The sincerity in their voice tugged at the remaining knots of doubt in my chest, loosening them ever so slightly. We need to set some boundaries, I said, the words a tentative step toward healing. I need transparency. Surprises are great, but not when they lead to doubt like this. Alex reached across the table, their fingers brushing against mine, a tentative connection. I promise, no more secrets, they replied, their voice a lifeline. From now on, we lay everything out. I want us to be solid, unshakable. I met their eyes, searching for a shared understanding in the depths of their gaze. I want that too, I admitted, the confession a balm to my restless heart. But trust, it is not something we can rebuild overnight. Alex nodded, the weight of their mistake evident in their slumped shoulders. I am willing to work for it, whatever it takes, I am here. For a moment, the room was filled with the quiet hum of the refrigerator, a reminder of the mundane life that continued outside our emotional storm. It was oddly comforting, a promise that normalcy could return. We need to talk more, I suggested, a small smile tugging at my lips despite the gravity of our discussion. Communication, real, open communication. No more reading between the lines. Alex chuckled softly, the sound warm and familiar. Deal. And maybe we can start by planning this cabin together? The suggestion hung in the air, a fragile promise of a shared future. I found myself nodding, a seed of hope taking root. I would like that, I replied, feeling the first threads of trust beginning to weave us back together. As we sat there, rebuilding the foundations of what had once felt so certain, I realized that forgiveness was not an endpoint, but a journey, one we were willing to embark on together. But as hopeful as I felt, a small part of me lingered. The morning sun streamed through the kitchen window, casting a golden glow over the table where Alex and I now sat, 2 cups of coffee cooling between us. A newfound sense of peace settled over me, the lingering tension of our confrontation slowly melting away like frost under the warmth of dawn. We should probably start planning that cabin visit, Alex suggested, a touch of excitement in their voice. I could see the eagerness twinkling in their eyes, a childlike hope that made my heart swell. Yes, I agreed, nodding. But let us do it together this time. No more surprises. The words hung between us, a reminder of promises made and the commitment to transparency. Alex grinned, reaching for my hand. Together, they affirmed, their fingers intertwining with mine, a simple gesture that felt like the beginning of something new. And maybe we can start by finding some local hikes? I have heard the trails around there are beautiful. The thought of exploring those trails side by side brought a genuine smile to my face. I have always wanted to try hiking, I admitted, imagining the crunch of leaves underfoot, the fresh air filling our lungs as we ventured into the unknown. A comfortable silence settled over us, filled with the quiet hum of morning. I took a sip of my coffee, savoring the rich, bitter taste that had once been a mere routine, now a symbol of our renewed beginning. As we discussed our plans, my mind wandered to the lessons learned. Trust, I realized, was not a static entity, it was something to be nurtured, a garden cultivated with care and patience. The past few weeks had tested us, but they had also revealed the resilience beneath the surface. We should try new things together, Alex suggested suddenly, their excitement infectious. What about that cooking class you mentioned a while back? I chuckled, warmth blossoming in my chest. I would love that, I replied, imagining us clumsily navigating a kitchen, laughter and the smell of spices enveloping us. And maybe we can take a dance class too, for all those cabin parties we will host. We laughed, the sound a shared melody, as if forging a promise to meet the future head on, with open hearts and willing spirits. As we sat in the morning light, our hands still entwined, the world felt full of possibilities. We had been through the storm, but now, a new chapter unfolded before us, vibrant and alive with potential. The path of trust and forgiveness stretched ahead, a journey we were ready to take together.